everybody. Welcome back to the Gulf Coast Texas High School Football Huddle, brought to you by Citizens Medical Center. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and we have a great show for you this week. As you know, the Huddle is brought to you by Citizens Medical Center. One of the very cool things about the Medical Center is the Healthplex. Citizens Healthplex is Victoria's premier medical fitness and wellness facility. If your goal is to improve your health, prevent disease, help you get strong and fit, or just be well, Citizens Healthplex is for you. In fact, it's for me too. You'll probably see me and my wife there. Their 7,200 square foot facility has everything you need to maximize your enjoyment and get results. They offer all the space, equipment, and classes you'll ever need to get fit and healthy, including a large array of strength and cardio equipment, over 75 classes per week, a degreed and certified fitness staff offering professional instruction. Oh, and if you need to relax, try the steam rooms, whirlpools, dry saunas, and massage therapy. You want to lose weight? Hire one of the personal trainers to work with you one-on-one, and you're sure to see the results you want. Your journey to improved health, fitness, and wellness begins at Citizens Healthplex.
Looking to boost your company's marketing? Look no further than Fresh MediaWorks. Podcasting is the best way to promote your brand and increase your customer base. You can create your own show, be a guest on other podcasts, or advertise on existing podcasts to reach a valuable audience. Don't wait. Start elevating your marketing game today with Fresh MediaWorks. Call now, 713-269-4620, or find us online at freshmediaworks.com/podcasting.
All right, everybody join me in welcoming Mike Forman from the Victoria Advocate. Mike, how are you today?
Doing okay, Chris. Been real busy like you.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, there was some great games, weren't there?
Yeah, there were. They're pretty incredible season openers. Of course, I don't know if you made it to Refugio, but that was a pretty incredible game. Refugio led until about 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and Hitchcock finally went ahead, and Refugio just couldn't drive on its last possession.
Well, I tell you, it was a far cry better than their matchup last year, so that tells me Refugio's, heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I think so. I think they learned a lot about themselves from that game, and I'll tell you, I was really impressed with Hitchcock.
They're awesome.
They are. That quarterback, Lloyd Jones III. Now, I'm not saying he is, but he reminds me of Vince Young, the style he played. He's big, he's tall, he can throw, and he didn't seem like he wanted to, but when he had to, he would take off, and he had one 50-yard touchdown run. And, that dude's hard to tackle. And Hitchcock has got a shot, I think, to win it all.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. And then speaking of quarterbacks, the Yoakum quarterback, turns out he's the real deal.
Yeah, we're going to find out for sure this week. They play Cameron Yo.
Yeah.
That's, I believe, the team that knocked him out. They played him twice last year. Lost him both times, the second time in the playoffs. So this will be a good gauge for them of where they're at, because I know Cameron Yo won its season opener. So this should be an interesting game.
Nice. And then Cuero, they win big. That was a good game.
Yeah, they of course, El Campo, Oliver Miles did not play for El Campo. He had a shoulder, a little injury that he suffered in the first scrimmage, and I guess they just didn't feel like he was ready to go. So obviously that had to affect him, but Cuero was quite impressive, and I expect Cuero too to get better through the year, because they have some new people in there, and I would think as they go along, they're going to just get better and better.
Definitely. Definitely. We talked about Hallettsville Shiner last week, and I was saying that, this may be a down year for Shiner. So what was your take here? Was it Hallettsville looking that much better, or is it Shiner's not quite there yet?
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I think Shiner could be in a little bit of trouble. I mean, especially in this before they get into district, because every one of their opponents is bigger than they are. And that's going to be tough for them. And I know I spoke to Coach Bedecker. I don't remember what day it was last week, but he told me he had like 4 guys out with injuries. And I mean, and where they're at, they cannot afford that. So, this could be, this is going to be an interesting year for Shiner. I mean, I know Coach Bedecker and Randy Palmer, they're great coaches, and they'll do everything they can to put their kids in the position, but they just don't have the athletes like they've had. And it's going to be tough for them. This week it's going to be interesting. They play Industrial. Yeah. Industrial, of course, lost to Yoakum. So I guess we'll kind of see which team is in, what position after this week.
Yeah, definitely. It'll. I think that game will tell us a lot about both those teams. Who is really taking a step back and who has a chance to get similar to how they did last year. I think they're both a little lower, but we'll see.
I agree with you. Neither one of them is as good as they were last year. So I think that's obvious. The question is, how much have they dropped? Is it how much is going to affect them? And I'm really still kind of curious on that Industrial district because other than obviously we know Edna's going to be good, but other than that, Tidehaven is really good. But I was kind of shocked at that score, 30-0. I didn't expect that. But so I wonder about Goliad. I guess we'll see a little bit about London this week when it plays, Refugio. But I don't know what to really make of that district right now. So
Goliad to me is the big question mark because I feel like they could have a better team this year, but we have yet to actually see it.
Right, and the thing about Goliad is I knew they were going to struggle a little bit on offense early, but I thought their defense was really good, and for Tidehaven to put up 30 on them, that kind of surprised me. Tidehaven, I want to tell you what, that team could be really good. And
we got them ranked pretty high.
Yeah, when I actually went to El Matan yesterday, and Coach Lucio was telling me he's got 3 sophomores on the offensive line. So they're only going to get better as the season goes along. And, of course, with Joseph Dodds, and that defense is a lot better than I think we expected. And it's funny, I met their new DC, who is Bobby Gonzalez. That name might be not familiar to people around here, but he was a running back at Weslaco East. And so people in the Valley, I'm sure, know who he is. And in fact, he was on teams that beat both Victoria West and Victoria East in the playoffs. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, I met him yesterday. So, I'm really impressed with Tidehaven. I think they have a chance to do something special this year.
Yeah, and we talked about Three Rivers last week, and they had a good showing against Falls City. It was a good game. Yeah, it was, although I in a way I was kind of surprised at Falls City. I knew Falls City's going to be good, but, this is supposed to be Three Rivers' year. And, I thought maybe they would win that game, but, Braylon Johnson, he had 240 yards rushing and I think it was 98 yards passing. He's just an outstanding player. And
that at the 2A level, a player like that can have a tremendous impact.
Oh yeah, and I totally discount first week scores anyway. Because so many people are trying to learn things. So I don't put a lot of stock into it, other than it was a good game against a very good team. So they're on track.
Yeah, we're going to see this week. Fall City plays Poth, and Poth got beat by Blanco. It was a close game, but one thing about Poth is they're always going to be there, and they play hard.
With open enrollment coming soon for Medicare, ACA, Obamacare, and small group plans for businesses with less than 100 employees, if you're in need of health insurance solutions, look no further than HAP Insurance Agency. Yes, HAP Insurance Agency is a fantastic resource right in the heart of College Station, Texas. Whether you're in retirement, a business owner, or simply looking for the best health coverage option, HAP Insurance Agency has got you covered. You can find them in College Station at 1551 Greens Prairie Road West, Suite 101A, or give Holly Pritchard a call at 972-897-0814. That's HAP Insurance Agency.
And they play hard. They usually don't make too many mistakes. So that'll be a good test. I think, in fact, if you look at that rivalry, Poth has pretty much, dominated that rivalry. Of course, Poth is a 3A Division II, and Fall City is a 2A Division II. So that makes it, when you jump two divisions, it's that same thing Refugio was doing against Hitchcock. But, it's tough. But I think that'll be a good tell game, because if Fall City could somehow win that game, that would kind of put them on a good path.
Yeah, definitely. What are some of the other games that stand out this week?
Well, the game I'm covering is Bay City at Edna. Both those teams crept into Texas football's top 10 this week. I mean, Edna's 3 and Bay City's 8. At first, I was kind of surprised, to be honest with you, at both scores. Edna, I know East Bernard put up some points, and now I haven't seen anything. I haven't had a chance to, but I've been told that East Bernard is now spreading, which sounds, that's been a slot T team forever I can remember. But apparently, I guess they feel like they don't have the athletes anymore to run the slot T. And but they still put up some points. And then, of course, Bay City, they were playing Sweeney. They had beaten Sweeney 68-0 last year. But this year, Sweeney has a new coach. He came from Rockport, and his son is the quarterback. And he's a good quarterback, Siebert. And so Sweeney was able to score some points, although Bay City ended up pulling away there. And so this should be a good battle. I've seen these teams play, I think it's the last 3 years. And it's always been close, and it's always come down to turnovers. Bay City has just killed itself with offensive mistakes. And that's the thing. They made some last week against Sweeney. They have to cut those out if they're going to be successful. And Edna, of course, we've always said there that Edna's hard to beat unless Edna beats itself.
Right.
We saw that, I think, in that Franklin game a little bit. I mean, they made some critical mistakes in that game, and obviously Franklin's so good. But, I think this would be a good early season test. I mean, Edna, they're not ducking anybody. They're playing them, and next week they have Refugio, and I believe they play Sinton after that. So, they're getting ready for district. So this should be a really good game.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. What about the Victoria schools? What do you see for them? Because they're I don't really know where to stand on those guys yet.
Yeah, I think first for Victoria East, they got the win over Taft. I know Taft had some turnover issues, but the thing that impressed me about East is that they played hard, and they didn't wilt at the end, which they've done in the past. So that's a good sign for them. I think Charlie Reeve is doing a really good job setting the mentality there. They're going to have a tough time this week with New Braunfels Canyon. I believe New Braunfels Canyon, I think they lost by like 3 points or something to Veterans Memorial, I believe. Yeah. So this would be East going on the road. So that is the other. Now West is hosting Leander Glen. Now West got basically spanked by Davenport, but I'm hearing Davenport's pretty strong. So I don't know what to make of that. They did put up 28 points, so obviously offensively they did okay. Their defense was just overrun, and I know Glenn actually they got smacked by Piper, but 62-0. So both of those teams gave up over 60 points. So
right, but to two good teams, like I said, the Davenport team we've got in our top 15.
Right. So I guess we'll see. Now, last year I know Glenn beat West pretty handily, but we'll see where they're at. I mean, West has got, their quarterback Camden Repper and their running back Kamari Montgomery both played last year, so they have experience there. And I think they can put up points. The question, I guess, will have to be, can they stop people from putting up points?
Right.
Another game that I'm interested in is Corpus Christi Miller is at El Campo. Yeah. Now, I haven't heard from Travis or anything whether or not Oliver Miles will be back, but Miller put up 71 against Rockport. And, Miller can score. So El Campo's defense is going to be tested again. So, I know Travis Reed probably would have preferred a little easier schedule coming in. But, they're getting tested fast. And, of course, next week they've got Veterans Memorial. So, and another game, which just out of curiosity, is Calhoun. I was kind of shocked. I mean, I thought Calhoun might beat Stafford. Yeah. It was a close game, but I think Calhoun's story is the same as it always is. They can't turn the ball over. That's basically it. And that offense, it's kind of turnover prone sometimes. So we'll see. I really don't know how strong West Oso is. They beat Catula, but we'll find out, I guess, this week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you talk about that Calhoun offense. I think early on they're prone to turnovers because it's as simple as it looks. It's a pretty complicated offense, Yeah,
it's timing. A lot of it's timing.
Yes.
And, you got to get that timing. And it's the same thing on defense with that offense. You've got to read your keys, and you cannot go out and look in the backfield, or you're gonna end up being in the wrong place.
Right.
So, and also, which to me is kind of surprising, Cuero's playing at Navarro. A lot of people were saying this is a down year for Navarro, but they won his first game. And, I'll tell you what, when you go on the road to Geronimo, that's a tough place to play. In fact, I was there last time they played, and I'm just going to say this. There were some interesting clock issues in that game towards the end. I mean, the referee stopped it once for unknown reasons, and it, plays seemed to take not take as much time as you would think they would.
Right.
And Navarro got them right at the end. But, we'll see. It's always interesting because, Navarro, I know they lost some key people, but I don't know if they had maybe some move-ins. And, if you get one or two guys in that offense, that slot T can make a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely. So, it sounds like we got, once again, a whole slate of really good games, and can't wait to go check some of them out and report on all of them next week.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll get a pretty good picture of things, and of course, next week's going to be another big week. So that's just been, the thing about this season is we got a lot of really good games early in the year.
Yeah, and coaches say the biggest improvement is between week 1 and week 2. So I think we'll get a much better picture of these teams this week.
Yeah, I agree. There's always usually, of course, the thing you have to factor into that too is the level of competition.
Yeah.
So, I'm curious, like, for instance, like you say, I want to see what Refugio does from between week 1 and week 2 because there were some things in that game that were concerning for the fact that I know it's way ahead, but when you think about them playing Timpson, and that's what, and even though I know there's still a long way to go, Timpson's in the back of their mind and Refugio's in the back of Timpson's mind.
Guaranteed,
Yeah, so, they're going to have to protect the edge better because when you play Terry Bussey, if he gets to the edge, you just might as well strike up the fight zone because you're not catching that guy. But
definitely.
But so it's going to be interesting. We'll see, who week 1, what happened, and I guess we'll know a lot more next week.
Sounds good. Well, Mike Forman, I want to thank you again for sitting down with me, and I can't wait to talk again next week.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Take care.
Take care.
You have a party coming up or just want a special gift? Check out Nani's Sweeter Side. Yes, Nani's Sweeter Side makes the most amazing custom-created sugar cookies with your design. They also offer paint your own cookies and decorate your own cookies. Those make an excellent sweet activity that you can sink your teeth into at parties. Nani's also offers some of the most amazing cupcakes ever. You can check out Nani's Sweeter Side at nanisweeterside.com. That's Nani. Check her out on Facebook. Just look for Nani's Sweeter Side. Or give her a call at 937-499-4790. At Nani's Sweeter Side, you'll find that happiness is homemade.
You're listening to the Lone Star Gridiron Sports Network.
Hey, I want to thank you guys for tuning in, and I want to thank Citizens Medical Center for bringing you the Gulf Coast Texas High School Football Huddle. Please take a second to share this show with your friends and family. Like and subscribe on any major podcast platform, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, Google Play. Wherever you find podcasts, you will find the Gulf Coast Texas High School Football Huddle. I'm your host, Chris Daly, and I'm hoping to see you at the game.
LoneStarGridiron.com. Access the complete history of Texas high school football, over 100 years of information, win-loss records, coaching histories, individual stats, records, and more. Lone Star Gridiron, the authority on Texas high school football.